On May 29, 18 governors will be handing over to their successors after completing their tenure in office. Many of them will be leaving their states in a pitiable infrastructural conditions, unpaid salaries and pensions, a deplorable state of healthcare and education, and a bleak financial outlook. But beyond the economic and financial mess, these governors are leaving behind the benefits that have been put in place for their welfare after 8 years of living on the state. Tunji Olandipekun put together this report.
Multi-billionaire governors to multi-billionaire pensioners. That is the story of many former governors in Nigeria. In the next few days, some of these governors will be leaving office, but there has been a significant uproar surrounding the pension schemes of both current and former governors, which many Nigerians have criticized as excessive and morally questionable, considering the financial circumstances of the states from which these pensions are being funded. But the life of affluence and luxury continues for some of these governors, all at the expense of the states. For instance, upon leaving office, Rivers State Governor and his deputy will enjoy benefits as approved by the State Pensions Law 2012. Under the law, former governors are entitled to 3 brand new vehicles, replaced every 4 years, in addition to receiving 100% of their basic salaries, 300% of their annual basic salaries for furniture, free medical services, and provisions for entertainment. In Kano, the pension law enacted in 2007 provides, among other things, that former governors and their deputies will be entitled to 100% of the incumbent's basic salary, including a well-furnished 6-bedroom house for the governor, while former deputy governors are allocated a 4-bedroom house. The law also provides for free medical treatment for them and members of their families, as well as an annual 30-day vacation within and outside Nigeria. Former governors are also entitled to an office space, 2 drivers, and a personal staff who must hold a position not lower than that of a principal administrative officer. In Lagos State, although the governor will not be leaving on May 29th, having won his re-election, the Pensions Law of 2007 provides that a former governor is entitled to 6 brand new cars every 3 years and the ownership of a house in both Lagos and Abuja. The estimated cost of a house in Lagos is valued at 750 million naira, while one in Abuja is valued at 1 billion naira. Furthermore, former governors, along with their spouse and unmarried as well as married children, are provided with free medical care. An ex-governor is also entitled to a cook, steward, gardener, and other domestic staff who are pensionable. Under the same law, former governors are entitled to 100% of their annual basic salaries, 3 cars, 2 backup cars, and 1 pilot car every 3 years.
This is not right for a nation where we are talking about the high rate of poverty. Let me tell you, as a governor, you have a security vote, you have other allowances that comes in for 8 years, for crying out loud. And then you talk about vehicles, houses at your choice, these at your choice. These are athletes. What will you do with it?
Calculate what goes out of the treasury every year for one governor or the deputy. It's so outrageous. It's so outlandish. And then you look at that, it's a state that is also struggling to survive. They cannot pay salaries. They cannot fix basic infrastructure. No hospitals, no school functioning. Then a governor that has served and who is already a multi-billionaire is taking so much out of the system.
Beyond the significant financial burden caused by these pension packages, many states are grappling with substantial debt levels, including both foreign and domestic debt, which puts further strain on the state's resources.
It's discretionary because the law does not stop them from collecting their allowances. So if they want to give away their own allowances, then it's discretionary.
More disturbing is the fact that some of the governors benefiting from the state pensions have either transitioned to the Senate or serving as ministers, Despite receiving salaries and allowances in their current roles, they simultaneously continue to draw monthly from the already depleted funds of their respective states.
These incoming National Assembly should immediately pass a law. Once you're a governor and you are elected in the Senate or you are appointed a minister, you should lose one. Because you can't have a big elephant in your head that you are taking home to go and slaughter for your family to eat. And you saw one small bush rat, you want to carry it again. And by the other side, you see another cricket, small cricket that is meant for poor people. You want to collect it and you hold two of them like this and you are going home with it for you and your family. That's unacceptable.
Various states have passed those laws and they are already operational.
A major concern is that these benefits are rewards for a maximum of 8 years in office. What do civil and public servants who spend up to 35 years in service get? Amidst the declining economic situation in the country, where some states struggle to meet the minimum wage of 30,000 naira for their workers, billions of naira continue to flow into the accounts of former governors and their deputies in the name of pension.
All right, we're joined now by Arise analyst Frank Tietie, who is a lawyer. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Good to see you. So many questions really being asked here. According to the Debt Management Office, states paying outgoing governors jumbo pensions owe about 3 trillion naira. I wonder what more one can add to Georgina's report there. But are these pensions or benefits really justifiable? We had former Speaker of Lagos State on the morning show recently, and he made a case as to why it became necessary for them to come up with this law. According to him, in the case of Jakonde, who was seen to have performed excellently as the Lagos State governor, after his tenure, his situation was very, very appalling.
And that is how public service should be. We've forgotten that it is all about service. It's about sacrifice. You don't go into public service to make money. If you want to make money, go into business and sweat it out and go and offer service, offer value. How do we now, reward persons who have impoverished their states? It's a kind of a criminal conspiracy by the state houses of assembly that have a legitimate right under section 124 of the Constitution to make law. But that provision of the law also says that do not give salaries to these fellows as retirement benefits, that such salaries are more than what the revenue mobilization allocation and fiscal commission would normally give. So expectedly, without the current data, a governor shouldn't earn more than 1 point something million naira a month. So in that case, so what happens? Meanwhile, don't forget that while he's in office, he doesn't buy food, he doesn't pay rent, he doesn't pay air for anything, and then he has access, uncontrolled, unrestrained access to security votes with which he spends at his own discretion, and then you also think that these are persons who have not in any way, with the present indices we have, improved the lives of the people of their state. In fact, they should, but for the fact that the Constitution said that they should be given retirement benefits, of what basis should you go into public service, serve, and then expect to be paid so much? Not so much to that extent that you will also expect to be given free medical treatment to your children, whether they are married or unmarried. You'll be given one house in Abuja, be paid such humongous salary. It is criminal. Nevertheless, it is a conspiracy by the people representing the people. I'm talking about the House of Assembly. They sit there quietly and then they make law under the compulsion of the governor, telling them what to do, or else he will release funds to them. This thing is really terrible, and it happens like this because of the docility of Nigerians. Where were the poor persons? Where were the civil servants? Many of them who die in the line of trying to get verified to get their pensions after working for 35 whole years. Pensions that you put all of them together will not be up to what the governor, ex-governor, who hasn't done much, because look at the state of affairs across our country, poor infrastructure, whatever it is. So how do you reward these persons for whatever have they done? So this Nigeria, it's like our government is a criminal enterprise, against the people, and then then it's against people that are so weak and so they don't have a way to actually check this.
But don't you think there's a link, really? So I'll let you. Isn't there a link between the corruption that we see in public office with that absence or the lack of a sense of security for the future, and so they feel, hey, I might as well take care of myself.
No. The idea of retirement benefit is that when you go into a government, don't steal a penny in the expectation that you are going to be taken care of for life. Only you. Only you. And then, but the idea is because despite all of that provision that the law makes for them, you find that there is this mindless fear that tantamount to a psychiatric problem, that no matter how much they gather from a course of the 4 years or 8 years, there is still that, inexplicable desire to gather so much so that you can own one political empire and continue to control Frank, the people with their own resources.
Frank, let me jump in here, Frank. I've never seen you so
it's annoying. To the extent that members of the State House of Assembly, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Majority Leader, and the rest of them, and even the legislators are not also becoming ambitious. They also want to get to be paid.
All right.
Retirement benefits at 100% of the salaries that they were collecting. Imagine the states, River State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom, you all have houses in Abuja.
You can name it, them all. Now, Frank, can we start looking at ways we can actually stop this? Because you spoke about the State Assembly, and these are meant to be our representatives who, 9 out of 10, are stooges of the governors. So how can we reverse the trend? It may just not start today, but there must be a process.
Public consciousness needs to be raised. You can't expect the man that provides security for the society, the policeman, hardly gets a deserving pay. And then he retires, and then they say his data got lost. And so for 5 years and all that, 10 years, he doesn't get retirement benefits. They said retire one. And then some of them earn as low, monthly pension as low as 4,000 naira. I was there at the pension office myself, and I had to give money to some of them myself. And it happens to ex-servicemen. And then what did the politician offer? A man who claimed that he came to serve you, he came to improve your life. Is that, thereby hoodwinking you, deceiving you to control your resources, and then you now crown him as king for life, enjoy the kind of opulence that the Obas and the kings that we've had in this country has never had, and then he claimed that he was a member of the public service? That should change. So if you are asking me that how do we change it, first of all, there is a constitutional provision that says, wait, State House of Assembly, make a law, but make a law to give pensions and retirement benefits to your governors. But these persons do so in this manner that reflects disregard for the welfare of the state. Imagine these states can't not only pay salaries, they don't have infrastructural development by these same failures who are not laying legitimate claims. Failures as governors.
Now, using the word legitimacy now, it looks to many Nigerians as corruption being legitimized.
Yes, that is corruption being given the cloth of the authority of the Constitution. However, Ngozi asked a very important question I was going to land on. The idea was that you don't steal anything. When we had servants, we've had them in this country. General Gowon was once a head of state. When he left office, he didn't have to have a house, and that's how it should be. Look, that is how government is supposed to be sacrificed. So the problem is our political culture is that of plundering, is that of amassing for doing nothing, actually, because a businessman creates wealth for being rich, but the politician who amasses so much wealth actually creates poor people to get money.
I jump in here again that he's talking about businessmen. Let's talk about the Sudanese British businessman Mo Ibrahim, who's giving an award, who gives award
to excellent leaders.
To excellent leaders across the continent. And we've seen for about 3 years, back to back, not one African leader was befitting of that award. So are we looking to getting an award system for people who, now talking about locally, now nationally in Nigeria, who have given true service, instead of getting this kind of corrupt means of enriching the same people who plundered the estates?
It will start by a political acculturation. That changes the narrative, that changes the norm from taking from the state
to giving.
So let's now talk about a Peter Obi, for example, who goes around boasting that how much he does not collect from Anambra State. Let's start from there, and then move on to say, you know, giving options to these persons who has as governors not to collect these monies. Boast of how much you did not collect while you served as governors, boast of how much you saved, and then boast of how much you don't need to be a burden on the state that you couldn't improve so much on in terms of infrastructure and the well-being of the people. We are talking about teachers, again, who live in very pitiable conditions, who teach, primary school teachers especially, who teach for 35 years. My mother was one of them. They suffered a lot. Some of them died in course of waiting for their pensions, and some of them for gratuities. And these governors will legislate, assent to a bill that is criminal in dimension, to give them so much. And then if people don't say anything, they are quiet. In fact, they don't even know that a law like that exists.
Right. Before, I mean, apart from the emotional aspect of all of this, do we need to look at the reward system in a way that will reflect, what you put in, as in what you will get out of it at the end of the day? What do we need to do really, so that whether you're a broadcaster, you're a teacher, you're a customs officer like my dad was, when I saw his salary when he passed on, I was shocked. But what needs to be done
for a career civil servant or a public servant expanded should expect a reward? But for someone who claims as a politician that he has something to offer, a politician, we shouldn't make politics a career, and that's a problem. So you're asking me, how do we build in reward into politics? That's what the problem is.
Not into politics, a reward system that covers everybody, whether you're a politician or not.
No, that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to excise the politics from that reward system that you are referring to. You see, a politician shouldn't make politics, a citizen, an individual shouldn't make politics a career. Look, politics is not about, yes, there must be survival. There should be, out of pocket expenses should be reimbursed. You shouldn't spend your money to work for the state. But again, it must start with a service culture. You should be able to be a successful businessman, a successful teacher, a successful, civil servant before you think of taking public office.
I think
at that point, we must withdraw it.
This is something we must stay on, Frank. Especially now that the inauguration is coming.
The president-elect, he has been a beneficiary of such a very criminally humongous, retirement scheme.
Frank Tietie would like to thank you.
He must stop taking that from Lagos State the moment he becomes president.
So we continue with the news now. We have to leave it there, Frank, who's so flummoxed today on that. We'll get Frank some other time. Frank, time to call.